Hello, hello. It's DNN Dave, and I'm here with my friend Daniel Valadas. How's it going, Daniel?
Very good, and you?
I'm doing good. It's been hot down here this weekend here. How about up there?
It's been up and down, but it's great. We had a lot of rain, but we had a drought before that, so it's welcome. And yeah,
Good deal. Good deal. Well, I appreciate you joining me this evening because we've got a lot on our plate here with the release candidate 2 for DNN 9.7.0. So we're trying to do some live streaming of testing here and try to encourage people to test and see how easy it is to do so. So I appreciate you joining me.
it's my pleasure.
Well, so we're going to do a pretty quick test here, but one of the items I'm going to let you, Daniel, if you would explain a little bit about the pull request that came in for this. But we're adding support for SVG files for the site logo and allowing you to upload SVG files for that logo and all that. So why don't you give us a little bit of background on what has happened to support this and what we're trying to test for here?
So SVG support is not technically new. If you had any older DNN that had already SVGs in the for the icons, it would work. But there's two PRs that came in, one by me, one by Jay, I think, Jay
Yeah, Jay
Mathis.
Mathis, yeah.
Yeah, I gave him a hand finishing it up, but it's me and Jay mainly that worked on that. And it's two PRs. So one is to fix actually being able to upload SVG files,
Oh,
because
yeah.
in the persona bar, it was there was some validation on image files, and SVG was not included in the list of files valid. But if you would set it in the database, it would already work. So an older site, or if you had another way to upload the icon, it would work. So that brings the UI to support uploading an SVG. And the second PR is how to render the SVG. So there's there's more than two, but there's two main ways to load an SVG. One is specifying just the file name of the SVG in an image tag, and then it renders it as if it was an image, which is fine, which is still vectorial, it still scales. But for CSS support, you only have the support that goes with an image. If instead of loading it as an image, you actually print the SVG code in your HTML, then you get some extra CSS stuff you can do, which includes animation, which includes setting different colors for the stroke and the fill, all kinds of other cool stuff. So the new default, the new default is to inject it, and for if you're building teams, there is an option in the logo skin object that you could opt out of injecting the SVG, or the opposite. I don't remember which one we made standard, but it can work both ways, and we'll see how it works with your demo, if it does work, because we're doing testing, so
Hey,
let's see.
well, anything's game here at testing, so we'll switch over to the screen here. And real briefly, I'll cover one thing that we're trying new with this, and I think it's working out pretty well. If you don't already belong to the DNN Connect group on Facebook, please be sure to join that group there. It is a public group, but it is by invite where you just request to join, and we'll be sure to get you in there. But we're going to try to post this, maybe put a little bit more thought into it in the future with the things that we want to focus on here with testing, and kind of treat it like a poll here and see who's going to test what and give feedback and all that. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. It's just search for DNN Connect group on Facebook and you'll be able to find it. Also, if you don't know already, DNN Platform is on GitHub. So if you go to github.com/DNN-software/DNN.platform, you will be able to get to the repository there for it, and you can get to the releases over here on the right. And when you go into the releases area, you will see the release candidates. If there is one currently active, it will show up as a pre-release right at the top here. So you can grab the assets that you're wanting to test there just by this section here. You can get the install package or the upgrade package depending on your test scenario that you're looking at. So I have got a Windows VM already set up, In the last live stream, I did a clean install of DNN 9.7.0 release candidate 2. And we're going to use this to test our SVG as a site logo here. So I'm just going to refresh the page, make sure everything's good. Yep, okay, it's still alive. I'm glad I did that. Sometimes you have to wait a while for it, for it to wake up. But we'll go into the settings area over here in the persona bar. I'm already logged in as a super user, by the way. We'll go to site settings here. And there is where our site logo is. So I guess first, do you have a preference on whether we drag and drop it in here or whether we use the upload a file?
All these answers.
Okay, we'll try them either way. So I think I have a Windows Explorer open over here with an SVG in it. So let me get that in a position where we can all see it. And I'm just going to drag it over here and drop it onto the site logo. Now this is a Nike SVG, and one thing I will mention, it is huge, and I did that on purpose just to see if it would blow up and treat it properly. But you'll see it's huge here, so we're only seeing a piece of it. Oops. Well, that looks like it would scroll, doesn't it? Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Do you mean it's huge pixel-wise or the
yeah,
file size?
yeah, but of course it's vector, so SVG, but the actual default size of it is quite large. If it were to be injected as an image, an HTML image tag, then it would be quite big, right? So we'd need to make sure it scales down.
And that's why we put an option in the skin object, so you can inject it, the pure SVG code, or load it as an image, because depending on your theme, this might not scale properly.
Right.
So,
and it could, in essence, if you
SVGs
already
have the ability to have a fixed width, fixed pixel size, or just a reference size, and then it scales to whatever you want it. So
yeah, and I guess if
your mileage may vary.
Yeah, I guess if somebody did use an SVG before and just didn't use the UI to set that, then it could potentially be a breaking change for you, but you have the option of flipping the switch, if you will, on how you want that to be loaded. So let's hit save and let's see what happens here after we refresh the page. So it did show in there, and we'll kind of take a look at this and inspect it. So that's a good sign so far. So it looks like the default is injecting it as an image, just referencing the source of the SVG file in an image tag in there.
Okay, so I think we went on the safe side, so it should not be a breaking change, really. Now, if you do want to go play with it, I can look up the option.
Yes, what I'm thinking is let's go do that after we try a few different ways of doing it. So let's use the browse here, I guess, and try to select the other file that was in there, which I'm assuming is in here. I don't know where that logo is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, logo or logo 2 maybe. Okay, so there's that. We'll switch it back, and that should switch it back. Okay, well, that's looking pretty good. So as we see, it's still in the image tag over here, so it seems to be doing okay. Now this time we'll just choose it, instead of dragging and dropping it, we'll just upload it again through the interface here. So now I gotta find that, where that website is. Let's see, I'm in dev, I've got DNN instances and DNN7 RC2. Oh, that's not where I put the image though. I put the image in my pictures here. Okay, there it is. So that's good that it showed up in that list, so it must see that as a valid file type for the upload. So that looks like it went in there. We'll save it. And we'll do a refresh, and there it is. So it does look like it put it back in the same place, so I don't know if that overwrote that file or not. We didn't get a warning about it, did we? Oops.
I think it just overwrites it. I'm not 100% sure.
I guess we could just double check. We'll go to site assets here, and we can delete that file. Or, I don't know if we really even need to do this, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But we can delete this and make sure that that other method of selecting the file instead of dragging it and dropping it does indeed do that. So we're clean there now. Now that file really is gone now, isn't it? Like it's not sitting in a recycle bin or anything like that somewhere, right?
No, not for files.
Yeah, okay. So site settings, and we'll select that. It should go to the same folder. There we go. Oh, now that time it did look like it was uploading it. So before it may have recognized that it already had it.
Yeah, that may be.
And we'll refresh this and make sure that it is showing up there again. Yeah. So that's looking good.
Awesome.
So did you want to take a look at the actual theme object and see?
Yeah, so just to showcase, how it can be done. So if you go to the theme and quotes, we're doing this just for tests, never modify the core theme.
Right.
If you would be doing your theme, copy that folder and give it a name, or use NV Quick Theme or something to build your theme, but never modify the original one and expect it to stay, because every time you're going to do an update, it's going to get replaced.
Exactly. So let's make that really clear for people, because that's an excellent point. I've seen this done way too many times. And, where let's say you want to use the Xcelian theme as your starting point for your own custom theme, which is fine. You can totally do that. But don't modify the actual files inside of this folder Xcelian or in containers Xcelian. What you'll want to do is create a copy. And I'll just do this real quick. We'll just copy the entire folder, and we will paste it into the skins folder here. And then you can rename this to whatever you want it to be and select those files accordingly. You want to repeat that process for containers here, because they're kind of both part of the theme package, if you will. So we are doing this purely for testing purposes here. Let's see. Well, I guess we could have done that, actually.
It would have worked.
We probably should have done that.
An installer.
Yeah, let's do that. So copy.
It's not a recommendation. Be far from it. You should build your own installer for your theme and stuff, but as a quick thing, at least duplicate the folder. It's still going to show up in the UI with whatever name you give it here.
Exactly. So since we're not really touching containers, since the logo object is sitting inside of the skin, we'll just focus on the skin here. So probably we'll just go ahead and open up this entire folder in code. Hey, what do you know? This may help somebody with getting them a little bit familiar with modifying themes and stuff as well. So
yep.
So here in the home, we'll just do it in this one. Now the logo is in multiple layout files here. These are user controls, but it's probably in home and inner and probably admin as well. Well, heck, it's probably in 404 as well.
It might be in a part though.
Oh yeah,
Did we have a part for the header, I think? Let's search for logo, for DNN logo.
Yeah, I guess I could just search for logo.
Or DNN colon logo, yeah.
Okay, so it is in the ASCX file. So
it is on each one, okay.
Yeah, so we have it here, and this is interesting that we don't get the color coding because of some malformatted HTML here. That's breaking everything.
Those comments don't work in XML.
Yeah,
you could, however, on the bottom right of Visual Studio Code, there's the letters XML. You could change that to, I think, HTML, or to, I don't know if it supports ASCX. HTML is not bad.
Yeah, this will work for now. So
better.
So yeah, are you saying that there's a new property on this or something? That,
exactly. Or attribute? So there's two new properties. One is InjectSvg, which is a Boolean.
Is
so
it
if we do uppercase I and uppercase S?
Okay.
No dashes. No dashes.
Oh, no dashes. Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Nope. Because it's a C# object.
So should that do it there?
So this one makes inject the SVG instead of loading it as an image. And there's another new prop, which is, there's two actually. So before you would have to do, if you wanted to give this a custom CSS class, you had only CSS class. And that would apply, if memory serves good, to a span that contains the logo, if memory serves good. Now there's a new one called LinkCssClass that applies only to the link that contains the logo.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only new one. InjectSvg. Yeah, so CssClass applied to the image. Now it applies either to the image or the SVG.
Oh, okay.
And LinkCssClass is one level outer for the actual
Right, for
link.
the entire A tag for it. Okay, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
So
Well, I
this
guess
one
we'll
is-
leave those blank for now, but we'll try this one and see if that indeed
Yep.
changes it from a. Now, this is the home one. The reason I'm updating this one is because that is what is automatically applied to the home page in the default DNN. So now I don't know if we would have to clear cache or not, but let's look at that. It looks like it's still rendering it as an image there. So maybe we have to clear. Oh, you know, we probably have to increment the
CDV,
yeah.
the CDF, CD.
So I'm going
F.
kind of fast through here, but it's over in the performance tab under server settings in the servers area of settings. And we'll just increment the version here. And we may have to clear cache, but I don't think so. And I may also have to do a hard. Yeah, it's still loading as an image, looks like. So we'll do an empty cache and hard refresh on the browser side.
Was the file saved?
No, not. I mean, it's already there. We just switched the token in the
Yeah,
themes.
you saved the file.
I mean, we could try.
The ASCX file.
Yeah, I saved it. Yeah. Oh,
You saved it.
well,
Okay.
I think I did. Yep, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
So I cleared the cache there. Let's see if that does it. And just for. No, looks like it's still loading the image tag there.
So that's not normal.
This is good. Maybe we have something to report now. I wonder if saving it again or something will cause that to happen.
This inject SVG.
Oh, you know what, Daniel? We did this in our copy of the theme, but we never changed the actual pages theme. So,
True.
yeah,
True.
this is good. This is how the pros do it, people. You know, we mess up, and then we realize that we mess up, and then we go and fix it. So don't be scared of this stuff. Jump in and do it. So I'm going into Pages Settings, and we'll go to Advanced and Appearance, and we should see our Xcillion test. Now that is the exact folder name that created there, so it shows you how this works. So we should just be able to apply that. We want to make sure that we have the home layout because that is the file that we changed, and we shall do a save.
There's two things developers say very often. Why doesn't it work? And the other one is, why does it work?
Or it works on my machine. Why doesn't it work on yours? No,
That's another
here we go. Now, this is kind of what I was hoping we would see. Now, I know it sounds awful, but I was hoping we would see that this thing does not scale right because that really shouldn't behave that way. Good news is it is now an SVG. So there we go.
There we go. And
All
the
the way up to
problem we're
here.
seeing here is that this SVG probably has pixel sizes.
Yep, exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, it has 2500 by 2500, it looks like here. So we could style this accordingly and apply that, which you could do. but we probably should limit this to, automatically limit to the size of whatever the image would have been as well. That's probably not super easy to figure out how to do, but
yeah. So now that becomes kind of a responsibility of the individual teams, and I will tell you, most SVGs don't have this issue because they won't have fixed sizing. They will be relative to a certain ratio, and then as long as you have a max width, you're fine.
that's interesting. Does it not show up in the resources there? Or?
Nope, that gets injected in the HTML. So it's no longer a separate request for a file.
Good point. So it's not a file; it's literally injected in the HTML. So I'm glad I asked that question, because that's clear. So it is now literally in an SVG tag, which is wrapped by that A tag that was normal for the logo object. So yeah. So
and now, if you want to take another 2 minutes to showcase how this can be styled different, we should now have an SVG tag, and we gave it the LinkCssClass or something, or CssClass.
I left it blank. Yeah. So
let's do both.
We can do. I guess the CSS class now will apply to the SVG tag, or will it apply to the?
Yeah, it's good. If I remember correctly, the CSS class applies to either the image or the SVG tag, and the link CSS class will apply to the link that contains it.
Okay.
So if you want to give in, I don't know, my link and my logo class or something, that should show up on 2 different elements.
Yes, we'll do my logo and what, my link here maybe?
My link, yeah.
Okay, so we'll save that, and then we'll have to go and actually put that in the CSS for this.
Which we could do in the browser if you just want to take a look at it.
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to do a little bit of a trick. Since this home layout already has a special CSS file for it called home.css, I was going to leverage that if I could find it. My brain is not finding. Where is home.css?
If I remember correctly, it's all on skin.css.
I
don't remember that it's supported, but I don't think it was used on the...
Well, by default, it does try to load that, and I'll show you. On the home page, in appearance, it puts it right here.
Okay, so that would be portal level. It won't live in the theme folder.
Okay. Well, let's not use that then. Let's not confuse matters here. I was going to use that, but
I'm not 100% sure. I never do it this way, so
we can do it. I suppose we can just do it right here in the custom CSS. You want to do it that way, or right on the page?
Sure. I would have just played with it in the browser.
Okay, so if we do,
because it's live.
Okay, well, let's do that then. That we don't want to confuse things too much for people watching. So let's now, if we, well, you say you want to do it in the browser.
I think you should just refresh the page and it should work. Our problem was that we'd never changed the theme.
Well, this isn't going to change anything because we haven't. There's no classes.
Well, we should have CSS classes. Do we?
Oh, I see what you're saying, and then we can actually just go. We need to see where those CSS classes are applied. There's my link applied to the A tag.
There we go.
And
there's
no CSS class there.
Okay, is it higher up in the... No, navbar?
No, we're outside of the object now, so let's just refresh our memory here. It was, so that's wrapped by a span called brand, so yeah.
Oh, now you might need to clear cache. So one of the things we wanted to avoid with this is that on every page load, it would have to read the file, get the text from it, inject it in the HTML page. So what we've done is that we only load it once and we cache it.
Yep, so there it is now. So the SVG element now has a class on it for my logo. So,
because I don't know for the viewers, but for me, the image is covering the browser developer panel. Like my picture and your picture.
Yeah.
Is that for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we could make the developer panel a bit larger
Yeah, sure.
to clear our faces so we can see what's under.
Oh, I see what you're saying now on our actual live stream. That is a great point. We can actually turn off our videos for just a minute here. And I'll do that, and I will do that. So now we can see it. Thank you. Good call. I wasn't paying attention to that. So now the thing is since there's no classes loaded, we don't literally see my logo over here.
There's
So
a little plus icon on the right pane of the developer tools.
Aha.
And here you could keep the SVG dot or just clean up the class as you want. And now we can fiddle with it here.
I learned something new, so that's really great. So if we were to do a width here of something, let's see. Why is there a colon there? Oh, there we go. If we do, interesting. So auto doesn't change it then. Okay.
No, now you can give it a fixed width, or you could give it a max width.
Okay.
That's one thing that would work with a regular image or anything else.
Oh,
or you could
interesting.
give it a max width.
There we go.
Then it's going to scale better.
The thing is it's probably got a height on it as well, huh?
There we go.
Yeah, so that proves that can work. So it's really working the way we would expect it to, and this passes the.
Could you try max width 100% and height auto?
Sure, 100%, and then height.
And just
auto.
height, not max height.
Ah, yes. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. This is a way that it's gonna fill the width of whatever contains it, and it's gonna bring it shorter proportionally.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a quick fix. And we could maybe include that in the default theme as a CSS rule. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is good. This passes the test really.
Yeah, and another little cool thing we can show, if you go back to the CSS for the SVG, now we have more control. So we could give it a stroke blue and a fill red.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this SVG, but and there we go. Now just the stroke is blue, and we could give it a fill that's red, and we can do SVG animation and all kind of things that would be impossible with an image.
Exactly, and I'll just zoom in here a little bit so everybody can see this really well. This is the power. Now, if you've got SVGs, then you'll see inside the SVG, you've got fill capabilities and all that. So it really follows the path. So these strokes will follow the path of the SVG. So you can colorize those. You can do all sorts of CSS that is associated with SVGs and really make this powerful.
Yep.
So.
And advanced SVGs will have names on paths, and you can target just a certain path and style the N differently than the K, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
And, everything.
Yeah, you could probably use your first and last and nth orders and stuff. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot with SVG.
You want to make the swoosh and keep the rest on a color.
You know, and I mean, have you seen the SVG tracing kind of animations? As a matter of fact, I believe DNNawards.com had some really nice SVG path tracing kind of CSS on it. Well, now you can do that in your logo. So, you know, you can go crazy and get in all kinds of trouble and get laughed at. So, no, just kidding. I mean, you know, with power comes great responsibility, right? So.
Oh, yeah. And it's cool because you can have very complex images that scale very well with a really small file size.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I think this is a good new feature, and we tested it pretty well here. So I really appreciate you join. Well, I was trying to change my little screen thing there, but I was pushing the wrong button. So, I appreciate you joining. If you like this, please hit the like button down there and smash the subscribe or slam it or punch it or whatever it is that you're supposed to do on YouTube, and let us know how you like this. And please do get involved in testing. It's not that hard. And if you ever kind of wondering what some of the backstory is, feel free to reach out to any of the Git approvers, and we'll try to help you find the associated pull requests that are related to these new features and so forth. And but get involved and do what you can to try to help with testing prior to the official release. So it's really nice to catch any kind of bugs or unexpected behavior before it goes live, right? Especially on these .0 releases, we're trying to make these more stable when they come out and trustworthy, instead of being like, oh no, we got to wait for the .1 release. On it, we really want you to be able to trust the .0 releases. And so thanks for your help in testing, and get involved. Take care. Have a good